Hi, welcome to Preps Plus Podcast, episode 40. I'm Josh Hart, sports editor of the Daily News. I'm here with Jason Leskiw, Preps reporter. We are back on video, as you can clearly see. It's been a little bit of a hiatus. Do you know what episode we stopped doing video?
It was around episode 15, so we took a 25 episode.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy, actually, to be on episode 40 a little bit. Should we give a little backstory on how this started and almost...
I don't even remember.
Well, it was my idea.
Sure.
I almost felt, I will say, I almost felt, because neither of us knew how this would turn out. You know?
Yeah, no, that's for sure.
And so, you know, ending on episode 4 and never publishing one of these ever again was certainly, I think, in both of our minds as an absolute reality.
Yeah.
So to be on episode 40, let's just say thank you to you guys for tuning in. Thanks to all our guests for our first 40 episodes.
We've had a lot.
A ton.
Yeah. Well, I think like 35 of the 40 episodes, right? Something around there.
They're about, yep. So thanks for tuning in. And as I've said the last couple times, if I'll take it that, you know, nobody has a problem with our podcast and anything we've been doing. I think we've been doing an excellent job because nobody's emailed so
nobody's had any complaints, so that's a good thing. Who was our first guest?
Was it Nick and Colton from Kelso?
No, that was like 4 or 5. I got it. I think it was Marcus Marriott, right?
Maybe.
It was Marcus. I know. I think episode 2 was Peyton Souvenir and Parker Essery.
Okay.
So I think it got to be Marcus. Yeah, because it was right before that. So it would have been Marcus. I saw Marcus at the softball game the other day.
I saw him at RN Long basketball not too long ago. Great kid.
Yeah.
He was just fun to talk to. Full of energy. Full of positive energy.
Yes, for sure. And it looks like his back is doing much better. So that's a good thing. Because he was in a wheelchair when we had him on the podcast. Yeah, it was Rothwell and Marriott.
And until he came in here, I don't think any of us had an idea. I mean, it had been just a week prior he was balling, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, so. Anyway, we should probably get to the action today. We have Kelso baseball players Cheyton Whitright and Peyton Noah on later. So we're going to do this a little bit differently than we did in the past with video. We got some new equipment and stuff, so we're going to see how this thing goes, but we'll typically do it in 2 segments, one with Jason and I, and then Jason interviewing somebody. So those are kind of the 2 segments. But first off, we wanted to talk this week as playoffs start on Saturday. You know, some of the locks and some of the favorites to advance make deep runs. So we'll start on the baseball side of things. Jason, who is your lock to make it far, to make a deep run in the playoffs?
It's Wahkiakum. Shocker, right? Yeah, they're loaded. I've been at the start of the season, and really not even at the start of the season. At the end of last season, I felt like anything short of a state title would be kind of, you know, an upset for whichever team beat them at any point, and not just a small upset. I know I've talked to several coaches and other folks in the area that just, I think everybody kind of shares that feeling, you know, that Wahkiakum is absolutely the team to beat. Everybody started the season knowing that, and nobody to end the season was able to beat them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, their pitching staff just has so much depth. I think, is their only loss this year to R.A. Long?
Correct, and that was a good game. A 4-1 final score, but a closer game than, you know, a 3-run deficit would you know, allude to.
No, they just have so much pitching. They can hit 1 through 9. They have young guys. They have leaders. That's just a well-coached, well-developed team that is, you know, finally culminating and kind of all coming together at the right time. And I just don't see them being beat at the 2B level. I just don't see it happening.
And there's still the best part about that, especially for them, is there's only 4 seniors on the team.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Most of the team's going to be there next year, and then even after we'll have a lot of returners the year after that. So.
Yeah, they've built something over there, and you got to give credit to the Browns, and you got to give credit to that whole leadership group that they've formed over there, of putting in the work and saying, we don't want to be miss the playoffs again. We don't want to have to sit and lose all these games, and they put in the effort. They're constantly in the weight room. They've put in the time, and so I think when you see something sustained like that, like they're gonna be able to do the past couple of years and over the next few years, it's really impressive and a testament to what they've been able to achieve. Another team that I have as I will say it's a sleeper, but probably going into the playoffs is a favorite maybe. Is RA Long baseball. I think this is another team that's put in the time. They have a core leadership group. They're finally coming together. But the reason I have them as my sleeper to make a deep playoff run is they haven't fared well at districts the past couple of years.
Right.
You look at a team like WF West, who has two phenomenal pitchers, who have scouts at every game. And you have to think of WF West as probably the favorite in that district. But I really like RA Long's mentality. They're very grounded and down to earth, and like in the past, you could see them get frustrated at maybe mistakes or things here and there. I saw them lose the opening game against Kelso, and that you could kind of already tell then that they weren't letting it get to them as much. This is a group that knows where their talent level lies and what they have to do to win, and they don't let anything kind of freak them out about that. You did a story on them recently, running in Friday's paper. What makes RA Long's season so successful this year?
A lot of it's just the chemistry of the team, the as you mentioned, kind of the attitude of the team. They have 7 seniors on the roster. Many of them have played together since they were little kids, but they say this year things were different. Things felt more, they were a more cohesive unit on the field and off the field, and so something clicked at some point during the off season and maybe the preseason where, they, as you said, they always had the talent. They had pitching. I think they've improved in all areas also as players, but the kind of sideline element to that is just feeling a different kind of feeling on the baseball field between one another and those sorts of things. So it's more that what's gone on in the background has really transformed, in my opinion, the team itself.
Yeah, and I know they won't they wouldn't ever say something like this, but they're still missing a Division I commit from this team. And the best part about that is they haven't let it define their season. Andrew Walling, we've had him as a podcast guest before. He's a great player. RA Long didn't let his absence this season affect them in any way at all. And they haven't ever said at all oh yeah look how much better we could be if we had that bat in our lineup, and that's what's kind of cool about this team.
Right. Is
not a lot of teams I don't think could say when they find out a couple months before the season like this Division I kid isn't going to be playing, he is having surgery. I think a lot of teams would let that get to him. Maybe say, oh man, our best player's out, and RA Long just hasn't let that affect them at all. They've just stuck to the game plan, and they kind of made this season their own, and I think that's really cool. I just see so many teams, will let an injury or a surgery like that define their year, and RA Long really hasn't.
Right.
Do you have a sleeper for softball or for baseball?
Yeah. It's tough because we got after this is Dark Horse, and I'm going to go kind of on the same plane as R.A. Long, as Kelso has struggled out of league. You know, you get to the playoffs, and hey, all of a sudden you got to face the type of team that you haven't seen since the last playoff season,
right.
And it hits you in the face, and you know, and so I'm gonna go Kelso. Last year they were, you know, in it till the end, you know, down at Propstra Stadium, and I think they, as you'll see, Peyton and Cheyton Whitright talk about later, they feel like they're peaking at the right time, and I believe it. I believe that to be true. So.
Yeah, and they're one of the few teams that beat R.A. Long this year.
Right.
So you know they can kind of turn it on when they need to.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously that was early in the season, but yeah, one of the few teams to do so. Dark horse.
That would be R.A. Long. And here's why. When we talked about this before we started, the dark horse is that team that's going to make a deep run. That we expect, you know, hey, they may not have made a deep run recently, but this is a team that's going to make a deep run. I think they're going to make a deep run for all the reasons I think we just mentioned. You know, hey, this is a team that has talent. They have pitching, they have hitting.
Yeah. I mean, there's only one team in the league that scored more than 2 runs against them.
Right. You know, so they can do it. Oh, well, and then the other thing, they've scored double-digit runs in 4 or 5 games, and so. This is a team that can really do some damage on both ends, and so.
I've got Kalama. I think a lot of people have overlooked Kalama this year. They certainly haven't had the pitching they've had in past years. But Brandon Walker's a really good coach. They have a lot of athletes, and the way the district bracket sets up for them, especially that opening weekend, looks real good.
Yeah.
I mean, Toledo's a good ball club, but I think, you know, Kalama obviously higher up in the league standings. I think Kalama gets that game, and then they go play Owako. And no offense to Owako, but I just think the Central 2B League as a whole is better than the Pacific 2B League, and I think that game sets up well for Kalama as well. Kalama's not the type of team that needs that has an ace. Right. So, like, when they throw certain guys, I don't think matters as much. It's about how well they play defensively, how well they can hit the ball. I think it sets up well for Kalama. I think they certainly make the regional round. How far they, what they can do at the regional round, I'm not sure.
Right.
Just because they don't have the top tier pitching.
And I think you nailed it too.
Outside of maybe Tucker Wetmore, I don't know.
Yeah, all area pitcher, and just started pitching halfway through the season. Yeah, I mean, you're talking about. There's so many question marks with that group, you know. But it's weird because I went with that dark horse pick and the sleeper pick. You know, I gave them serious consideration because. They seem to do things, especially a guy like Wetmore, and there's a couple other guys there that are unbelievably talented. And
they know how to win. I mean,
right.
they have experience winning.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's certain coaches that, you know, what happened here, coach? I think we were afraid to win, you know, and Kalama certainly, they know how to. They're not afraid of it. They're I think a lot of these guys are willing to go out and give it their all. And not risk looking foolish going after that,
right.
You know, looper in center field,
right.
Those type of things. So I like Kalama a lot. We'll jump over to softball. You're locked to make a deep playoff run.
I'm going to go Kelso. I mean, they made a solid run last year. They got to state, you know, a base running error into their season, but. And the other thing is they took Stadium on this year. They beat Stadium, which is a team they're probably going to see in the playoffs. That's a state caliber program. And, you know, when you do that in the regular season, and go on the kind of run that they have. You know.
They clinched a share of the league championship tonight, beating Mountain View. They have two pretty phenomenal pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
We've had them as podcast guests before.
Right.
And they just have a lot of players.
Yeah.
That's also my lock. This is a team that's historically had a lot of success in the postseason. I know they want a state title. There's a lot of good softball teams at that level. Most notably one in their district, Bonnie Lake.
Right.
But I do like them to go far. I think that's just a well-coached, disciplined team who has a good handful of seniors that want to make a difference this year.
Well, and the big thing is in years past with them, especially this group of girls there, they hadn't been able to see, the types of teams that they would see at state. So, and they realized that. So they said, hey, we're going to go for our non-league games, play a Montesano, and other teams that recently won state championships at different classifications.
WF West,
right? So it's like being able to do that, being able to see what a state championship program looks like, what it looks like, and going head to head with that type of program, I think makes a big difference in the long run.
Yeah, scheduling is key.
Mm-hmm.
I really do believe that, and these coaches know it. There was always talk when they went to RPI in basketball of teams scheduling games against lower classification, but knew that would boost their RPI because of the win percentages and classification not being factored in. But I think the smarter coaches said, no, we're going to go play the team that's going to test us.
Yeah.
And I think that pays off more than trying to get a higher seed because you're RPI.
Yeah, well, I mean, once you get to the dance, you're in the dance, and I mean, if all you've been working on is a two-step,
well, yeah, you gotta that's a good, you gotta beat everybody to win the state title anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
Why does it matter what order you play them in?
Mm-hmm.
Sleeper for softball.
It's funny that this is now some kind of a sleeper, but my sleeper is Toutle Lake. I almost don't know why that's a sleeper. I was just reviewing Toutle Lake's season, and shout out to Healy Studebaker-Smith. Your name, I think, has popped up everywhere, and so, it's a young team, new coach, but very few losses in a tough league, and so, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I have them as my dark horse. This happens all the time. When Sam Woodley left, nobody thought Toutle Lake would go very far.
Right.
And then they take third at state.
Mm-hmm.
Now Bretzi Hockett, Shelby Levang leave. Maybe Toutle Lake doesn't go very far. They're still pretty competitive in a pretty darn good league. And if they finished with the state trophy, I wouldn't be shocked at all. I mean, they've lost a lot of key pieces, but this young group has seen how to win. They've put in time behind those pretty phenomenal players, and they've taken notes. And there's just so much talent they have. They can really hit the ball, and seemingly 1 to 9, they can really hit the ball. And a lot of those players are young players, and they're doing. Ed Shammel's done a great job his first year. They're continuing that tradition of success, and I expect them to make a deep run as well.
Yeah, it's funny because we knew volcanic ash helps fertilize plants and things like that after a couple of years, but apparently it fertilizes softball players as well. So, bad joke.
Yeah, your earlier one was better.
Okay.
The two-step one, that was actually a good one.
Oh, I was dead serious.
I know, but it's a good analogy.
All right. I'll take it.
Okay, my sleeper softball-wise, so Toutle Lake was my dark horse. My sleeper is Castle Rock. I think this team not making state playoffs a year after advancing the state quarters, state semis, really kind of lit a fire under this team. They have so much talent. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm really impressed with the amount of talent, and they just seem to get a little bit overlooked. And I don't know why that is, but I really do think this team has potential to make an insanely deep run. They have some pretty solid pitchers. They have really good defense, and they can hit the ball quite a bit. I think Castle Rock go back to the run they made a couple of years ago. That district is tough.
Yeah.
Especially with Montesano there. That district is certainly tough, but yeah, I think they make it out of there, and I think they win a couple games at state. You still got a dark horse to get.
That was my dark horse, was Castle Rock. I agree with what Josh just said, and that's a good team, good program. A lot of talent, a lot of athleticism, and so and they've a lot of those girls during volleyball season got a taste of state. They have in volleyball in particular grew, and same thing in softball, and I think they could make a legitimate run.
Yeah, for sure. The team we don't mention is Woodland. When you have a pitcher like Olivia Gray and some of the talent they have around her, you're always capable of a deep run.
Yeah, and I'll mention the reason I didn't include them, because they were absolutely for all three of those except for sleeper. I couldn't put them as a sleeper, but Olivia Gray plays club, so she faces stiff competition. I haven't seen it, so I couldn't go with it. But that being said, if they make a deep run, I don't think anybody around here is going to be surprised.
Yeah, I think Ridgefield, the two tests with Ridgefield in a week span, really, really will help them in the long run. And I think it's good to lose now.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course.
Just like the Monty game for Kelso softball, I think it's good to lose. And you share a league title, and it's probably not what you want, but I think it helps you in the long run. It helps you kind of cope with being behind. They showed everything a coach would want in that game as far as kind of the grit and coming back from deficits. I think that helps. Anyway, we'll jump into the interviews with Cheyton Whitright.
Hold on. Get close up on this. Now let's get a close up.
There's no one behind the camera, right?
Oh, I need to see my doctor.
Anyway, we'll jump into the interview with Cheyton Whitright and Peyton Noah, and we'll see you next week, hopefully, if we have time to sit down and do this. Now that it's video, it takes time to edit it.
We'll do it. We'll record it on the field. How about that?
Yeah.
We'll do one live from the. Well,
I think Jason has 5 games next week, so.
Absolutely do.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see when there's time.
At least getting a guest in here will be relatively, or out there will be relatively easy.
Yeah. So okay. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi, welcome to Preps Plus Podcast, episode 40. Here with Kelso baseball players Cheyton Whitright, Peyton Noah. Seniors on a team that's had a pretty good amount of success for the last couple of years. What's that been like for you guys?
It's been pretty good. I've been a 3-year starter for Kelso, so going from a sophomore and then having a great deal of success and then just turning around and having that same success every year feels pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's always been kind of nice because we just seem to peak at the right moment. Just like the past 2 years, we've just peaked right when we need to, and we've just been at our best when our best is needed. And that's what our coach tells us a lot and harps on us throughout practice, and I think it just really, at the end, it all starts to come together, which is nice.
Okay. Baseball's a funny sport that way, too. It's like, I guess maybe aside from, the Astros last year, it goes from college to pros to high school, whatever, where until the playoffs. The playoffs really are a brand new season. You can see teams shoot the Giants for 3 years in 5 seasons. Were by far they were not even close to the best team in baseball, but for whatever reason, they had fun in the new season. So how is that? Like when you guys have been in the playoffs a couple times before, what is that like? When you go from having Prairie or another team like that be your biggest opponent to, hey, we got, I don't know, Bonnie Lake or whoever. What is that like for you guys?
The atmosphere is just different. Like, they're going to play a lot better than the teams you have seen during the regular season, and you just feel like a sense of competitiveness come out.
Okay.
And it's like you just, for some reason, you just get a step ahead, feel like you can play with them, and you just match how they play.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just being ready, like Coach does a great job gearing us up for this week. We had 2 good practices the past 2 days, and we're gonna have a great one tomorrow. But everyone just knows it's go time. Especially when you're in that 2-game elimination thing in the district tournament, and that's a tough district. Like we drawed, I forgot our sophomore year we played Wilson, and then Bonnie Lake, and Bonnie Lake was ranked 2 or 3. And the game was awesome, and we were all ready, and we just have the utmost confidence going in, and we got a great team. We're all like great together. No one doesn't like each other, so it's just a great team, and we're gonna be ready.
Okay, and what's it? I mean, you guys already play in some pretty nice parks, but how much different is a place like Propstra when it's playoff versus just regular season?
Well, a lot of playoffs you're expecting to see a turf field for the first round, and you get ready to field very steady skips. Nothing's going to take a bad hop on you.
Right. It's coming fast, though, I imagine.
Yeah, it's coming faster, but you're not expecting something wild.
Right.
You can expect all the hops it's going to take. But once you go from turf to natural, you got to change your focus to expecting those wild hops, and then you got to, as a batter, you got to know the difference of the box, because you can't just dig out in turf, but you can in the natural. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like the game's just played so much faster on turf. It just seems like you get the true hops. It's more a clean game. There's not, you get what you expect on turf, and then you go to the natural, and I mean, we get some of the craziest hops on Sonnedecker. It's just like, oh my gosh. And you see that just on all fields, like some of the spins you get. But I mean, it's tough, but it's something you just got to adapt to.
Okay. How much does playing at LCC during the regular season help get in the groove of playing on turf?
It helps a lot, because a lot of guys that haven't played on turf or haven't played for a while on turf, they'll kind of forget what it's like to play on turf, and then they get that feeling of how it is again, and they get that mental focus of this is what it's going to be like in playoffs. So. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, and it's kind of like a little tune-up, just to get a feel for, and your leads, what's the game going to be like, how far you want to play back, just the feel on turf, balls hit at you, and that's a great facility. It's awesome to play out there. We got lucky and got 2 games, so that was awesome. But it's just a great facility, and it was fun playing on there.
Okay. What's been your guys' toughest test this season?
Our hitting. There has been a lot of times where we just weren't mentally prepared to go in and hit. We could play defense spotless or with minimal errors, but every once in a while it just seemed like our bats were not there. But here lately we've been on a winning streak and been hitting the ball, been doing exactly what coach has been telling us at practice, and it's been working in games. It's been paying off.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, coach has really been awesome with it. We kind of, on the bench and in the game, like everyone in the game has kind of like adopted the word SWAT, and so it's kind of like it's the emphasis of getting on top of the ball and, hitting the back spin line drives when you miss on top. But I think everyone, loves the word SWAT, and you'll just hear it in our dugout every now and then, and it's just, coach has really just helped us out with our hitting the past month or so. You know, we went through a little, I don't know, like a little team slump right out of spring break.
Right.
You know, but I mean, our defense has been there all year, but our bats are hit and miss. But when we're on, we're on.
Okay. And you guys had, was it 11 innings? No, 12 innings.
12
innings.
Yeah, just like a week ago, you know, and for this was kind of a two-parter. One, how exhausting are games like that, just from the point of view of like having to focus on defense for that long, and then also, you know, when you end up with 8 at-bats or something like that, how exhausting is that, seeing that many pitches in a game?
It's really exhausting. Because you expect to play 7 innings. You're not expecting to play more than that. And then when you do, you have to really push through that barrier that's just, I want to be done, I want to quit.
Right.
It's getting hard, and you just got to kind of fight through it every inning, every at-bat, every single time you go out on the field. It's a fight.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that game was just, I think that was the best we've been mentally throughout the whole entire game. You know, like, we did start down 3-0 or something, and then we battled back in the last 2 innings. Well, not the last 2 innings, but the 6 and 7. Yeah, and so, you know, it was, I think that game was really a turning point for our team.
Okay.
You know, like, it was long, but I think we didn't take out, like, how, like, mentally, like, we were in the game. I think we took out like, how our dugout was, like, how, like, we played the game, and, like, how we carried ourselves throughout the whole entire game. And I think that was just a great game for us, especially right before the playoffs.
Right. And how much, you know, different teams and different individual players react differently to different types of energies. You know, some guys like to just be at the end of the bench by themselves, you know, in their own kind of space, and then other guys like to be, you know, with the group, being loud, that sort of thing. Which category do you guys feel like you guys fall in?
I like to fall in the category of being in the middle of it. Like, I like to start yelling whenever I can, and even if I get out and I'm mad, I still try to pump up my teammates.
It's like hard as a player to like understand, like, or like, I guess, realize that baseball's fun, you know, because you fail so much, and it's like, you know, but I mean, there's nothing better than being with my teammates, and if like I strike out or I make an error, just to know they have my back and that we're all like collectively just a positive group. Like, and so if something bad happens to me, I just know that my teammates are going to be there and that I'm going to have to get it next time and step up. And that's kind of just been our whole theme this year. No one really in like the, you know, everyone just has to step up and give their, like, just flush it.
Okay. And yeah, you bring up an interesting point there. It's like baseball for an individual player has the highest failure rate of any sport, and it's not even close. I mean, you look at football, you know, 8 to 10 touchdowns is a pretty good season, but that means you're looking at a touchdown every game or every other game, depending on how many you're playing. And you know, basketball, probably getting a point or two, you know, every night, you know. But, you know, a 300 batting average is, you know, sending someone to the Hall of Fame, right? You know, so how hard and how much do you feel like you guys have grown over the past couple seasons dealing with that failure at the plate, you know, brushing off errors and those sorts of things?
It always helps to have the team behind you, because what coach has always harped on us is always pick up your team, always be the best player you can, no matter what your job is during the game. So it really helps when you have someone there to just hype you back up, making you want to go back out there and get the next one, be better always. So that always helps.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to go 0-for-3 at the plate or have an error in the infield, you know, but it's always good to have your teammates there, and it sucks, you know, to feel that bad and like just feel like you could have contributed more. But I mean, at the end of the day, everyone on our team is just trying to win. It's not really stats anymore. Now it's like we just got to win, and that's like the only stat we care about.
Okay.
But, yeah.
All right. You guys have what? Something crazy like 10 seniors on the roster, I want to say?
We have 12.
12 seniors on the roster. Yeah, what is it? Only 2 guys that aren't seniors or something? Or 2 underclassmen?
4 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we swung up a few, but it was Trey and Alex.
Trey and Alex were the only 2 for the longest time.
How what's that like having basically guys that you've been through school with all 4 years and those sorts of playing for 3 years, and what's that like for you guys?
Well, we've played with them forever.
Right.
Like even down in Little League, we've played with
Mm-hmm.
them, so we all know each other very well. We all know each other personally, outside of baseball, outside of school, all that. So we all understand each other. We understand when we're mad, upset, all that. And especially now this year that we have all 12 of us together, it's really cool because all 12 of us get it in high school just like we started.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like Cheyton said, we've all played together, for so long. But then, I think our freshman year, after freshman year, we all played C squad together, freshman year. And then after freshman year, it was our sophomore year, we kind of divided a little bit just because, some of us swung up and played varsity because we were young on varsity. And then some of them played JV. And then our junior year, we kind of just all came back. And now that it's our senior year, it's been fun. It's been fun to be back with all of our teammates, and we've also I think we've just gotten closer collectively.
Yeah.
I think last year we were kind of there was some big players like River and Zach. We were all kind of that didn't allow some of the guys to swing up, but now we got Ben Bergenzine. He's awesome. We've always him and I have always been giving each other crap, but
Yeah.
it's been fun this year. We've been able to just bond, and it's been awesome.
Okay. And how much in that same element, is there a collective, hey, this is our senior year, we better win some games this postseason and make a deep run? Do you guys feel that?
We all feel how much everyone wants it. The passion is there, and more importantly, we just are getting together more often now that it's towards the end of the season, and we don't want it to end. We just want to keep going and stay around with each other.
Okay.
Just bond with each other more.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we have a fun team, so we're gonna go out and do our thing. We're gonna have fun. At the same time, we're gonna be serious because we're there to win, and we're gonna make the deepest run we can make.
Right.
But it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun. It's our, it kind of sucks, because we were it feels like yesterday we were playing our first game, our sophomore season.
Yeah.
And now we're, here at the end, kind of. But I mean, it's gonna be fun. It's sad, but it's gonna be fun. We're gonna try to do our best and make a nice
Make the most
run.
of it.
Yeah.
Okay. And so some quick hits here. Who's the best bad ball hitter on the team, do you guys think?
Like bat ball,
Bad ball, low and away, but you
okay.
swing for the fences and sometimes make contact kind of thing, or
Ooh, that's a tough one.
I'm probably gonna go with my guy Josh Stewart. I love that guy. I see some of the stuff it's like he can't hit the one right down the middle, but the one that none of us can hit, he just gets a bat on it. And
It always gets him on base.
also and then also John Roberts. Oh my gosh, it's like he loves the tomahawk pitch. The one that's oh my gosh, you can't even
neck high or something.
you gotta swing like this instead of like this. You gotta swing up and down. But no, that's my two, John and Josh.
I'd have to say mine are Alex and probably Max. Max can hit a bunch that are just all over, but every once in a while there's that one that's right there, and he misses it.
Right. Okay. Best defender on the team.
Probably Alex. I like Alex. So he made the transition because last year Ryan got hurt at short. He broke his finger. Yeah. So he kind of got thrown into it as a freshman.
Okay.
And so then he made the transition from shortstop to second base, and he's been awesome. he's one of those guys that when the ball's hit at him, it's like I don't even flinch because I know he's going to make the play, and it's kind of just automatic like that. Okay. And then in the outfield, probably Cheyton. He's had the most experience at outfield, great outfielder. He's going to go play college ball, and that's.
Where are you going to?
I'm going to Clark College.
Okay, all right, nice.
And he's going to be great there. He's going to be a great outfielder, and he's going to, our outfield's great this year, and he kind of leads them, and I'm out there too sometimes, and he's hard on me even, and I'm just trying to joke around with him, and he's get to work, and so and he does a great job, and he's great with his glove, and he's one of those guys out there that we don't even flinch.
Okay, he's blushing.
Yeah, that's cute.
Okay, so then next one is funniest moment during a game, practice, whatever, this season.
Something that has to do with P.
All right, so we got this little thing in the dugout. So, if we're on the bench, they're out there doing their thing. We'll be in the dugout, right? Well, this past 3 games, we've made they call them snipers, Some snipers made, so a coach breaks some fungos every now and then.
Okay.
And so, we'll get, I go in the trash and I'll get the fungo piece, right? And so we got this athletic tape. We got athletic tape, water bottles, just anything we can find in our bags,
Okay.
We don't like to bring stuff in, We like to just organic. It's just organic straight from the dugout. So, we'll make a little sniper. It's fungo, main fungo, and then, we tie our water bottle on. Cole Farley, great tape job. He's great with it. But, we'll be out there, and, kids will fall down, running or something. And so we'll usually snipe people. That's probably the funniest thing when, someone's running and then they trip or fall, and we think it's us, but it is probably us. But, but, yeah, I love the dugout. We love always making up some dumb cheer or something, or like the snipers and stuff, but it's just so fun, and we've had a lot of funny moments in there.
We even got spotters duct tape 2 Gatorade bottles together as binoculars, and we got a spotter always looking out.
Okay. You got any pictures yet?
I got them in my car.
Okay.
I might have to bring them by after this. But
there we go.
Also, so we our locker room is in the football stadium, and if you've ever been in there, it's just concrete,
slick.
and it's slick because we got our
medals.
Yeah, we got our medals on, so we'll be walking, and first 3 days, you got the guys the freshmen that come in to try out, they come sprinting in with their medals on, and it's like ice skating, they'll hit, and then next thing you know, they're on their back and they don't even know what happened to them.
And then once one goes, they all go. It's
just like a domino effect. Okay. Domino effect. Everyone starts falling, but it's fun. That's funny.
I'm guessing that's happened to about everybody now.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah, I felt the other day right before I pitched. I thought I broke my wrist almost, but yeah.
Okay. And then toughest, this is area where as you walked in, we were talking about rainouts and ever just the rain. But what's been the toughest rainout of your guys' career?
I think the toughest rainout was against Mountain View.
Okay.
This year, actually, because we were so focused on getting to them on this certain day.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to wait 2 days, and it was still pouring. It was still horrible conditions, but we still played. And by that point, I feel like our team just was out of it. Our focus was gone, and we weren't ready to play that day.
Okay.
I think our toughest rainout. I wouldn't say this is our toughest, but every year we've been up on varsity, we haven't been able to play Mark Morris because of rainouts. And
right.
that's early in the season. And there's a bunch of rainouts early in the season,
mm-hmm.
but we were able to get Ari along this year.
Right.
And they're on a roll right now. Yeah, they're on a 12? Or it's probably more than that.
I want to say it's even 14.
I know they're undefeated in the league, and that's a tough team,
Yeah.
And we wanted to get them. We got them, but we wanted to get Mark Morris because we haven't played Mark Morris in baseball, and that's a good team, and we wanted to play them since we've never really played them. We played them in basketball and football, but we never got to play them in baseball. But I think that's my toughest right now, just because we've never been able to play them. But
okay, all right.
Yeah.
And biggest rivalry game.
All right, long.
Okay.
Every year, or Evergreen. The Evergreen games are always a tough rivalry because seems like most games we're always right there, and we win it, or we're just right there, and we just lose by one. Like 2 years in a row, we've lost on the walk-off. And that's always so tough because we know we can beat them. We know we're in the game at all times. And then all of a sudden we're just out of it, just off one hit.
Okay.
And it always sucks.
Okay.
Yeah, I think for me, definitely Ari Long, just because, like, ever since we were 8 or 9, that's been, like, the game, you know. Like, you know, you go up and you look on the tournament as a 9-year-old and you're hoping you get Longit, you know.
Yeah.
In the championship or on tournament or on Sunday, you know. Because we just had some crazy games with them. Like, just our 12-year-old year, that game where there was like
34, 35.
Yeah,
there was
just
like
crazy score.
Yeah,
there was like so many. I think there was 8 home runs, and it was just a crazy game. And you know, they got some good players. Like, I'm pretty good buddies with Connor Wallace, Andrew Walling, and Caden Vanderwerf, and you know, and we played with them one summer. I think it might have been 2 or 3 summers ago. We played with them.
Was that like Babe Ruth or?
Yeah, I think we did. Like we did our 15-year-old year. We did like the Babe Ruth thing, and we made it to the regional championship. You know, and then I don't know if you might have played. You might have been primetime or something.
No,
but,
I was playing summer ball then.
Yeah, but yeah, so it was just, you know, I played with them, and you know, it was so fun to meet Connor and Andrew and Caden. And I compete against Connor, you know, in football and basketball. He's a great competitor, and I love him. He's awesome, and you know, Caden and I, we, you know, kind of go back and forth. But yeah, it's kind of fun because he always tries to wrestle me. And, you know, I have to put I'm going to throw him under the bus right here, but you know, I have to put the smack down on him, even though he doesn't like it. But you know, and that's just so fun. Those are some great guys over there, and it's fun to go compete against them and stuff.
But what happens when he pitches the ball to you and you strike out?
Well, thank goodness.
Then you feel horrible.
Thank goodness we didn't have him this year. You know,
Yeah.
you know. But I remember my junior year, he got me. I think probably twice. I think, but you know, he's a great pitcher.
Yeah.
You know? Great guy. He's gonna be great at LCC.
Yeah.
He's always been good. He's worked so hard. He's just a great guy.
Okay. And biggest, you know, it doesn't have to be a walk-off, but biggest, we'll call it a late inning win.
There's been, for me, I'd have to say my sophomore year.
Okay.
Senior night, I didn't get to play because I was a sophomore, and we go down 8-0 against Black Hills, and coach put in all the normal starters, and by the last inning we beat them 9-8.
Okay.
Yeah, probably these past like 4 games we've just you know, kind of caught fire. You know, we hit the walk-off against Prairie, and then senior night, you know, we had Colby walk it off for us against Hudson's Bay. You know, those were just 2 great games that were just fun to be in.
Okay. And kind of starting to wind down here, speaking of late inning games, having a guy like Trey come up from the JV squad, like, I don't even think it was a week before that 12-inning game, and watching him pitch 6 innings, I think he allowed three hits during those 6 innings, probably struck out 6 and something like that. What's that like as seniors kind of seeing that, like, hey, we got, you know, 10 seniors on the team, but here comes this guy coming up from JV. You know, Kelso might be all right for a bit.
He has proven himself at all levels of the program, and we know he can throw. We know he's good at it, so we're okay with it when he gets pulled up, and when he starts throwing, we have all confidence in him, and we have all the hope for them next season with both Hartleys just up there because we have confidence in him, Al up there. Like, all these guys that are just underclassmen, we have all confidence in the world in them just because we know what they can do. We've played with them forever, knowing what they can do.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor came in and did a great job, you know. You're going to get them mixed up, Trevor and Trey.
I do. You're right.
Trevor's the one who pitched kind of, we're not going to call it a beard because it isn't a beard, but, you know, it's a wannabe beard, but, you know, I mean, they're going to be good. You know, you got Alex coming back, you got Trey, his brother, and, you know, that's just 2 groups that just love baseball, you know. They can play every day for 365 days, and they're going to be good, and, you know, Coach is going to mold them into what, you know, is going to be the expectation, and they're going to step up. They're going to be fine, and don't be surprised if you don't see Trevor deal, Saturday, because I mean he can go in there and deal. He's a good pitcher. He hits his spots, and he loves baseball, and that's like one of the bigger things is he wants to be out there, and that's if he can produce. I mean, as seniors, we're all for it,
Okay. I think, by the way, it might be alpaca. I'm guessing when someone in his family bought into those commercials to be an alpaca farmer.
Oh, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I mean,
Makes sense.
We don't know, the guy's kind of, but we love them to death, both of them.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny when they fight, That's my favorite. That's one of my favorite parts.
They fight all the time.
When they start going at it, But yeah.
Who's generally the winner in that one?
I've never seen anything.
Usually I say it's
verbal more.
Well, I've seen them wrestle before.
Uh-huh.
And Trey came out on top the one time I saw him wrestle.
Okay.
But I think it's usually a pretty even fight because they're
probably know their moves and everything.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. Okay. And then last question here is entering this weekend, how excited are you, and do you guys feel differently this time around than you have in previous seasons entering the postseason?
I'm excited. I'm pumped. I'm ready to see what we're going to do in playoffs, and I have all the confidence that we're going to keep winning and keep going on, and everyone's going to do their part, do their job as they're supposed to, and it just feels like different because everyone wants to win, especially it being most of the guys' last season. So it just feels different.
Okay.
But it's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, we got a lot of experience, obviously, heading into these types of games and knowing what's at stake, winning 2 games on that Saturday would just be huge for us. And, we're going to step up. We, like I said at the beginning, we're going to peak when we need to peak, and hopefully it's this weekend, and everyone's going to step up. Everyone knows their role, the guys that came up, they know their role. The guys that have been here the whole year, they know their role, and everyone's just gonna have to produce Saturday, and it's gonna be fun. We're gonna go out there and compete and do what we do best.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I lied. That was not my last question. I thought it was, but I remembered something I wanted to ask. I've been kind of around Tom's coaches, post game chats and in both wins and losses, and sometimes I might not hear every word, but it almost sounds exactly the same. How about to you guys? Is it kind of one of those things where he just his voice or something just you almost couldn't tell the difference if you didn't listen close?
Yeah.
If you're not paying close attention, you'd think he's mad when he's actually happy.
Right.
But most of us don't even know if he's giving us praise or yelling at us. He's just got a stone cold face, same tone of voice, all this stuff, and the only time he's happy for you is when he sticks his hand out and gives you a high five.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of just keeps us on that same plane, and he's always looking forward for us, he wants us to get better throughout. He just doesn't want us to be satisfied with one win. He wants us to, go out and compete for the next, whether it be practice or game. But, he sometimes, he is, when we do lose, we always can tell if practice is going to be
good or bad.
The way we see him tomorrow, So I try to joke with him, try to get that mood up a little bit, I mean, we kind of on the bench, we have the game changer and we have the iPad, and so I left him a little surprise with a selfie, and I changed it to the screensaver, and and he told me that the iPad broke, and I asked him why, and he said because I took a picture on it, and he said I broke the screen because I guess I'm not that good looking, but I guess I mean, he got a little laugh out of that, but and he just does a great job with us and just keeps us never satisfied with just one win or one at bat, or he always just wants us to keep getting better and better, and he's just been a great coach to us.
Yeah, he never lets us ride too high or stay down too low. Okay. He always just wants to keep us right here, right in the middle.
All right. Yeah, I know from being around him the last year and a half that he is even keeled, but when you could, like during basketball season when he was coming back to coach, in March, but happened to be in Tacoma at 5, 6 a.m. or whatever it was, and going back and forth. I discovered he's the type of guy who just loves that sort of thing. When I'm sitting there on my sixth coffee by 11 in the morning, he's like, "Oh, hey!"
He has a go to him, you know. Mm-hmm. I mean, in practice, he kind of gets us fired up, you know, just by his attitude and how he runs his practice and how up tempo he is. And same way in basketball, you know, I feel like he could just be a player out there, you know, with the way he's sprinting around, you know, he's shooting, and you know, he's just got this energy to him that is kind of just contagious, you know. It really, you know, it fires us up, and it makes us want to be the best we can be, because he wants us to be the best we can be, and we try to do that for him.
All right, awesome. All right, well, thanks guys for coming down. I really appreciate it. You guys have been great. Congrats on a successful regular season, and best of luck this weekend and beyond.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for watching Preps Plus podcast, our 40th episode, return to video. Hope to see you guys next time.